If you want to tell a story in your presentation, what can it be about? Now, there's lots of different options open to you. It might be something that you've heard that you want to credit to somebody else. It could be a story that's happened to other people. It could be a story about your client. But in this video, let's think about telling the stories about you. What are your stories? You may well have all sorts of things that you probably already tell people without necessarily thinking, oh, that's a story. But let's give you some ideas. For example, your story might be about something that you've achieved. Now, for some people, that is absolutely the point, the focus of their presentation. Maybe they've won a gold medal or they've climbed Mount Everest. They have a big signature story in many ways that is about an achievement, and then they extrapolate lessons for the audience members about what we can learn from that. But perhaps it's not a huge achievement like that, but it is something that you've done in life or in business. Maybe it's something that's happened to you. Now, for example, I suppose it's a signature story about the fact that I am the face of an online dating scam. Now, if you've never heard me tell that story, either give me a ring and I'll tell it to you on the phone, or go and Google my name and the words dating scam and you'll find it. But it's a useful story for me to tell because I can tell it and it's obviously about me. It's quite personal. It's very honest. It's also quite funny. I do play a certain amount of it for laughs, but it allows me to make certain points, and I can use that story in different ways to make different points depending on the audience and the session I'm running. So sometimes I use it, for example, to talk about how to promote a story in the media. Other times I use it to talk about how to protect yourself online. So it's a multi-purpose for me. Your story might also be about something that you've learned. How did you learn it? What was the process you went through to learn this particular fact or skill or whatever it is? And again, that might be business, but it might also be in your personal life. I know a number of people who have learned new skills, sporting, musical, artistic, whatever it is, and now use that story to talk about how we carry on learning all the way through life, or how you really can teach an old dog new tricks. So there are things that you've learned that may also be the basis of a story. It may also just be something funny that's happened to you. What anecdotes do you tend to tell people down the pub? What are the things that make you laugh, make your friends laugh, things that have happened? So it doesn't have to be a big set-piece signature story. It might actually be something quite just throwaway, funny thing that happened to me when I was in the shop the other day. This guy said to me this, or I did that. Whatever your story is about yourself, it has to have a point, and it has to have relevance to your audience and to your topic. Don't just try to crowbar a story in. It's really tempting, if you know you've got a good story to tell, just to want to get it in there, maybe to get the laughs or to make people gasp or whatever it is. But sometimes a story just doesn't fit. And I'll give you an example. I have another story about the fact that I was, many years ago, held overnight at gunpoint, held hostage. I'm fine. It all ended very quickly, but it's a story I don't tell from the stage because it's just not relevant to the topics I speak about when I'm on stage. So it's a story I sort of have in my back pocket, and it's, to an extent, it's an anecdote I might tell people, but it's not something that I use in my presentations. Again, if you want to hear that story, let me know, and I'm very happy to tell it to you. But don't feel that you have to try and crowbar a story in just because you've got a good one. Sometimes the art in storytelling is knowing when to leave it out, when to edit it to make it shorter, but also you've got to be able to make a point with it. So you may well be the source of your stories. Think about, what have I done? What have I learned? What's happened to me? And you'll probably find you've got a story in there. If you want help finding your stories, give me a shout, and I'm very happy to talk it through with you. And I'm sure we can extrapolate and extract some stories out of things that have happened to you that you might not even think about as being potential stories for your presentation. Hope that helps.